Hi, everybody. I'm Susan Amorose, and I'm welcoming you to another episode of our Original Bliss podcast. And I am honored today to have two folks, a beautiful couple, wonderful entrepreneurs, pioneers, and just incredibly strong voices, authorities, and providers within the integrative model of wellness here in the greater Pittsburgh area. And please join me in welcoming Alexandra, better known as Allie, and Dr. Darren Dubyak.
Well, hi, and
Thank
you so much for having us.
We are just delighted and thrilled. As I said, I have known them for a while, and Doc, you and I go back a number of years.
Yes,
I owe a lot of the leaps and bounds in my own personal wellness journey, and also some of my education and awarenesses to the Dubyaks, and there are many offerings. I'm going to give them an opportunity just to share a little bit of what I call their origin story, how it is that you came to be interested and compelled toward wellness, but in a way that required you to go beyond what I'll call a box.
Yeah, sure.
And we know that coming from the Heiress production studio here in Aspinwall and the Heiress community, we are a large group, both providers, instructors, audience too, of people who are very interested in these topics and look to educate and also explore things that we think are going to be interesting, not just to our following, but to the general public. So without further ado, I'd love to hear a little bit about how you both as individuals got started.
Sure.
Well, it starts with you because this practice started initially with him, and then we'll talk about how I got into it.
Absolutely. By the way, that's the first time she let me go first, so I'm definitely going to take this.
And you have it recorded for all posterity.
And it's recorded, so yes. The origin of Body by Aim, and Aim is an acronym. It's Advanced Integrative Medicine, right? And it started because, my mother got diagnosed with lung cancer, a non-smoker, a very healthy woman, in 2009 and 10. And as she was going through certain treatments, the straight allopathic care of medicine was very brutal on cancer patients, right? And still is, I would say, to certain things. And my mother said, you know what, I really just don't want to do all this. And we started really investigating other things. Now, at that time, I was a chiropractor. I was a functional medicine practitioner. So I had some knowledge. And the wonderful world of integrative care is those partnerships and those people you know. And the amount of outpouring and support we got from certain practitioners throughout the country that helped me, even my knowledge, on treating my mom more naturally and more not just that allopathic beat you down with a bat and either the treatment's going to kill you or the disease, right?
It's an attack mode in many ways.
And she trusted us and she trusted me. And she did pass away, but her life expectancy was a year more than they thought. And it just kept me on this journey, and especially for how I grew up, right? I grew up in a mill town, right? Things were always centered around food, which was great. I had great childhood and great Hungarian, Slovak hunky food, as we call it here. And
Yum.
we saw that a lot of the Dubyak members were either diabetics or had heart disease. And I started thinking to myself, am I going to just get this by affiliation, right? And I was on this quest that there was no way I was going down that path. So fast forward to 14 years later, we really specialize on integrative weight loss, hormone, and gut health care. And we do it because it's something that needs to be said, Sue, and you know this. And there's so many people out there looking for more information rather than just,
Oh, yes.
hey, I was given this diagnosis and then this is my treatment. We're in a time and age that people are using Google, ChatGPT more. People are really trying to find out what's wrong with them. And is there another way to treat, right?
Even a faceted approach,
100%.
not just that
Correct.
that single trajectory.
You got it. And that's why Body by Aim was ultimately created, because we want to be just not a data center giving you data, this is what's happening. We want to be direction, able to help you with a direction on helping you achieve that goal of health. When Allie and I met in 2018, as we all know, she's a nurse practitioner and she was in primary care, and she's going to get into that. But I really, from who I am, said we would be a really powerful couple in medicine if you took this medical care and this integrative care and put it together. And so far, it's been pretty darn tootin' good, and we've been helping a lot of people.
If I can just interject before Allie jumps in, that's an incredible background story. It's very moving. And when it comes from such a personal, real life passion and commitment, I've found that people who are in practice within this integrative model really tend to personalize their practices, and that's also so appealing. And I know that that's a huge part of the draw for me, who entered your doors years ago, just searching to improve my overall health and how I felt. So, Allie, please add to this your story, because you truly do come from a classic allopathic angle.
I do. I'm a nurse practitioner, and I worked in family medicine, family internal medicine, primary care situation whenever I met Darren. And I truly struggled in primary care because my patients never got better. You know, I was at the mercy of my education, which I'm not faulting. I obviously learned so much, and it's a huge accomplishment. However, I didn't truly learn how to take care of a patient holistically, right? Everything, something's wrong. It's always a medication. It's always an invasive procedure or something, right? A test that they had to go and do. And so I truly deeply care about my patients, and I want to take amazing care.
I vouch for that.
I want to take really good care of my patients. I want them to know that I care. And so for me, in that primary care setting, it was very unfulfilling for me, right? Because yes, I care, and I think they know that, but they're constantly coming back in to see me like, what's wrong? Something, you know, I'm missing it somewhere. And I didn't even know. You don't know what you don't know. So then you fast forward, and I met Darren. I still worked in primary care for the first couple of years that we were dating. And he one day was like,
he
hey,
influenced you.
He was like, hey, you know, I really need
being recorded. So yes, I
for
did.
posterity.
He said, I really need a nurse practitioner. And me, I'm like, oh, I don't know. I'll ask my friends. And he's like, Allie, I need a nurse practitioner. I'm like, oh, me? And so it was a really difficult decision for me to make, because this world was so foreign to me. I wasn't trained. I knew nothing about diets and supplementation and all the things that we do now.
It probably felt overwhelming.
It was so overwhelming, and it wasn't what I was used to, right? I've been in medicine since, I graduated from nursing school when I was 22 years old. So I was an RN for a number of years until I decided to become a nurse practitioner. So traditional medicine is all I've known
okay.
for, almost 20 years. So, yeah. So Darren convinces me that I need to, come to the dark side, which is not the dark side. I'm just being funny.
Yeah.
It's the light side. And I've learned so much. I can't even speak to the amount of knowledge that I have now that I never had before, and the fulfillment that I feel with our patients and this practice, because the patients get better and they're so happy. Their quality of life changes dramatically. I mean, something as simple as an elderly patient that she comes to us and she's like, I just want to lose 50 pounds, because honestly, what means the most to me is that I can get down on the ground with my grandchildren and play with my kids, or I can tie my own shoes. Simplest things. And obviously we've seen other things that are way more, drastic
severe,
than that.
complex,
but
layered. Yeah.
Truly, sometimes it is just the smallest thing that changes the patient's life. So
you, have this incredible practice, which I vouch for, and I've watched evolve over the years as well. And it is such a vibe when you,
Thank you.
Yes, you are welcome. And, I'm the vibe lady here, right?
I believe that.
So I have,
I totally believe
yeah,
that.
I have some background expertise, but it's such a great vibe, and it has so much to do with a really sizable and incredible staff that you've invested in every way, and the people who come to see you are happy. There's an air of contentment and a feeling of such nurturing support. You are seen and you are heard, and I think that piece maybe is a great launch into something that I thought would be fascinating to explore with you both today. And that is, over the years that you've been in the business of helping people get well, feel better, I think it would be interesting to talk a little bit about the changes that you have registered in people and the way they go about self-care and really relating to themselves.
Absolutely. One of the things that I want to bring to everyone's attention as you're watching this is just watching this woman evolve, right? She just gave you her testimonial, and you saw that someone who came from that traditional model who just said, I did not know these things. I was not. And then to see her be the practitioner she is now is awesome. Just me watching my wife evolve into this mega practitioner of support and health and information. And I'm very proud of her, and she's absolutely a fantastic practitioner, which she does in getting people to feel better. To answer your question, the prominence of Body by Aim and started from one thing, and the one thing is the word information, right? Right now, we are really, really living in a world where not only do people want information, they want it now. They want it yesterday. They want it, and I like that. And I like it for a fact that
they want to be educated.
Right. And exactly. And, Sue, being a patient for years, the thing that set us apart in the beginning is we ordered more blood work than any other clinic you can think of.
Yes.
Why? It's you. See, at Body by Aim, there's no guessing. I don't know what diet you should be on, or a cabbage soup diet, a high keto fat diet. I don't know. Your blood work helps assist us with helping you. And that's why getting all those tests that we offered, and we'll talk about that at the end of the podcast, of why it was so important, even bringing gene testing in, different testing that really help educate us to then help educate you. That's what has evolved mostly the last 5 years. I think, Allie, you would agree.
The education piece
It's the education, I think, that has
And there's a lot of
cause
confusion out
that
there as well.
change. You know, the education that we provide and the support and the accountability to help people along the way, right? Because think of, you know, you go to your regular doctor and we'll just say you have high blood pressure as an example, right? Put you on a medicine, like, oh, come back in 6 months, you know, and it's just so superficial, and nobody really knows the questions to ask. And there was an era of time where everybody just kind of trusted what they were being told. And now we're in this era where I think people don't just want to say, oh, I just take this medicine and that's it. They want to know, well, like, why? Well, what else can I do? Do I have to take this medication? And so I think that's where we do a really good job in our practice with our patients, is the education piece. And it's not just like one thing, you're out the door, we won't see you again for 6 months. People want to know there's education, accountability, follow through.
Yeah, it's very nice too that you can pull from both sides of what our current systems are available to us here in the US, because you can bridge language, you can bridge understanding, and you too can identify with the people who are walking through the doors for the first time and may not really know a whole lot about this world that is more integrative, meaning combining the holistic piece and the allopathic piece.
So if I can interject, one thing I think, Allie and I were just talking about this the other day, where she said, it's amazing how when I used to practice, people had to see me. They were very ill. It was very sick care. It's so wonderful practicing each day when people want to come see you. They want to come better.
Tell us a little more about that.
You got it. And, you know, it's very fulfilling when, so again, just to highlight, a lot of what we do, we're very weight loss, metabolic hormone functioning company, right? And GI health as well, and all that whole consortium of things. And it's just wonderful seeing people not only get better, but just believe in us, getting this information. I mean, and
I think that, I don't know what it is about this time frame. I mean, there's so many things, and that's a topic for another day, but I just think that it's difficult for the patients, right? Like I think we're in an era now where patients want more than what they're getting from the primary 100%. Care situation.
Allie, when you say more, what do you? I bet some people can't even express what it is specifically that they want, but they know there's more.
They know there's more.
What are they getting that's satisfying them?
I think that, gosh, probably I feel like our patients love the accountability the most, right? They love the support. They love that somebody is there, that they can get in contact with. I mean, and our patients are here. They're on a journey of some sort for multiple different reasons, whether it's their gut health, hormones, I just don't feel good.
Anything.
So many things, weight loss.
Autoimmune issues come into play. I don't want to miss saying that, because it plagues so many people, and you're a great solution toward that.
Yep.
You know, I get excited, so I need to sit on my hands.
What are you?
But, you know, we're speaking tomorrow at a local hospital on females in menopause, right?
Wow.
And what I wanted Allie to say is what you were saying, when people want more information. You have no idea, Sue, how many women over the age of 45 have no direction. They see their OB-GYN, they see their PCP, and it's either you're just deal with it, it's normal, go on birth control, or lose weight.
Yeah.
That is the three options that you women are given, and it's almost as though medicine has brushed you aside.
Absolutely.
Would you agree?
Yes.
I mean, that is so big, and that's why we're even asked to speak tomorrow at the symposium, because of course there's an answer.
Yes.
Of course.
Rather than three things to choose from.
So it's kind of the point I was trying to get to, with so many things swirling in my brain. But I think patients have gotten to a point where they've just kind of given up, right? Or they don't have any faith in the normal treatment of the things going on with
Oh,
them,
yeah.
because I think people get really blown off. And I can say that because we see so many patients and they come in and they're like, I'm here because my PCP hasn't done anything for me. And I'm not knocking PCPs or
course
specialists
not.
whatsoever. There are some amazing practitioners
This
out
is
there.
a
I'm just
dialogue,
speaking from
about
what
what
our
it
patients
is.
come to us and say. And it's so common that they say, well, my specialist isn't doing anything for me, or my PCP is not doing anything for me. I still feel horrible. Something's wrong. That they have no faith. And so they don't really know what they're looking for. They just know that there's a possibility with us that we'll uncover something, or we're going to dig deeper
You're going to dig
than anybody
deep.
else has before.
You're going to dig deep, and you are going to take time.
Yes.
And sometimes I communicate more with you and your offices than I do my family members in any given week, because I know I will get a response, and it typically will be, even in that environment, an integrative response, meaning that it's a faceted approach. Members of the team, numerous members of the team are involved with any particular case file. And one of the standards, I think, which dominate, and I think this is, in fairness, where the integrative model comes in powerfully on the holistic end, is it is supremely relational, because you do have your blood work, your tests, everything in black and white. But you also have the nuance and the understanding of somebody's journey and what doesn't show up in a conventional diagnostic, which is part of the diagnosis.
Yeah, 100%.
And coming from the Chinese medical model, that is how it's done.
Yeah.
It's always that combination: emotion, state of mind, environment, family, lack thereof, all of it is a piece of the puzzle that everyone, I believe, it deserves to have examined.
I think integrative care has really developed themselves of having a lot of relations with different practitioners that everyone speaks. What I mean by that is, let's say you have a heart issue. Well, your cardiologist isn't talking to your PCP. There's so many breaks in the system.
Oh,
yes. That's what I mean by that, right?
It's so compartmentalized.
So you have someone who had a colonoscopy, but yet that may not have shown up yet, but yet you have a cardiology appointment a month. So no one's like bringing those networks together. I think with integrative care, you develop those relationships. You work with people, like working with you, Sue, where you have your network that everyone's communicating, right? And you're getting just not one answer. You're getting a lot. And then you put those things together to really find out the solution. And I think that is the power of integrative care.
I agree. I think it's so faceted, and it seeks to put together all of the pieces. When people come to you now versus 10, even 15 years ago, it's a blink of an eye.
Yeah.
But I've noticed an enormous change, even in the demography of the people who see me. And particularly since the pandemic, I have many more males concerned about various facets of their personal wellness, and even their ability for connectivity, relationships, all of it. And that's just one example. Can you give a few examples of what you see that has maybe been unexpected?
It's interesting that you say that. For us, I think just in general, I've seen an uptick in people that, they hear that we do the blood work, this really comprehensive panel of blood work, so they want that done. They don't even have necessarily any goals. They just want to know, like, how can I be my healthiest? Even for the people that don't necessarily, like, oh yeah, I'm tired.
They want a picture.
But they want a picture. They want a baseline. They want to know what they can do to be their healthiest. I think
that's good news.
I think since the pandemic, honestly, people are so much more aware, and we're in this time where people want to be as healthy as they can possibly be. And I was just talking to a patient about this earlier in the week. You know, I think back to like my grandparents, you know, generation. They weren't in general, the going to the gym and eating super clean and all the stuff that we do today. I mean, my grandmother is going to be 93 years old, and she looks
Amazing.
at me like, oh, honey, like, you know, she can't understand why I spend so much time at the gym,
Oh
or
yeah,
like
yeah,
why I
yeah,
won't
Yeah.
eat her mashed potatoes, or, you
yeah,
know.
yeah, yeah.
So I think that since the pandemic, for sure, like we just in general, people just want to be healthier.
Yeah.
And I don't know what it is that feels like in that same time frame that people are coming to us for so many different reasons that they've been dealing with for a long time, and all of a sudden
I think
they
I see
want an
that
answer.
too. Yeah, I see that people are becoming more creative about the way by which they explore potential resources.
For sure.
And
Absolutely.
and
The pandemic forced you to have more time on your hand.
right.
So when you had more time on your hand, then you had to really look at yourself in the mirror more. And then some people just didn't like what they see.
Yeah, and a lot of people had
how
really
they
unhealthy
felt.
habits and
Right.
did things, you
Right.
know, people physically, emotionally didn't do well. So
No, they didn't.
there was a whole, you know,
There
tsunami that kind of
many.
happened after
You're
that.
right. That's so true, Allie. I like the word tsunami. Yeah, it kind of moved in a wave a lot of unhealthy habits because people wanted to bypass the emotional insecurity, the social insecurity we were undergoing as a collective. The isolation was huge.
Yep.
And of course, there are a lot of ways to cope with that. And many of them that were immediately accessible were destructive.
Yes.
Or at least not part of a healthy lifestyle. And then it seems that people went through a long, dark tunnel, but are seeking to come out the other side with better habits and a better way to cope. I think if we feel like we're stronger in body, we feel like we can be stronger in mind, and vice versa. What do you, I'm curious, when people are entering into that world perhaps for the first time, what I notice in your environment is they usually bring along their spouses eventually.
Yes.
Do you ever encounter, I think I know the answer, but I'll pose it this way. Do you ever encounter people who undergo challenges once they get home? They may be incredibly excited about this path forward.
Absolutely.
Let's talk about that, practitioner to practitioner.
So I'm going to take the helm here just because I see so many people initially, like that first visit. And Allie knows this, and Sue, you do, because you're a patient. I always ask, is the people at home on your team with this?
Yes, you do.
I do it with everybody. And I'll tell you why. I don't have stats. I don't want to throw out percentages, but I will tell you this. There's a patient who has a spouse, and if that spouse isn't supportive, that patient will do well, but I don't think they'll do 100% well.
Yeah, they won't do their best.
There's the patient who has the spouse who is all for it and is very supportive, and that patient does very well. And then there's the patient who brings the spouse. And they both listen to what we say. Those are our best patients. You know, you think about it in anything, Sue. If Allie stayed in that allopathic model and chastised me for everything I did holistically, that would definitely impede our relationship from a personal standpoint.
True.
Would you not agree?
True enough.
It's the same thing with your patients. When you have someone who cares but is willing to do it with you, and if they're even just, honey, I'm here for you. I got you. I'll go grocery shopping. I'll meal prep. Those people do amazing.
There's so many dynamics there at home, though.
Oh my
you know,
gosh.
once you have
And
like
some of this is very food based, so emotional, so triggering, so cultural.
Absolutely.
no, you know, there's so many.
But when you
so
said
many
so many
dynamics
dynamics, I
at
thought
home
about that.
That, you know, man or a woman wanting to, to seek care with us, it goes home and tries to talk about it. It's different for the spouse to sit and try to explain everything to the other person to get them on board versus them if they would have heard the interaction in the office.
From the resource.
And one of the interesting things is that I see a lot in the nutrition coaching notes is the support that patients don't get at home from their spouses or even from their friends. Like, why are you doing that? Oh, why are you eating like that?
Have a glass of wine.
Oh, just have a piece of birthday cake.
Yeah.
Yes. Very
a pressure.
Yes, but also kind of condescending in a way, making them feel like that's nonsense what you're doing. And patients, that's upsetting to patients.
Of course it is, because they feel alienated for a choice they're making, and they're making that choice for this to better themselves.
So a lot of people are jealous. I mean, this isn't everything. A lot of people are very
control.
jealous.
Right.
Correct. A lot of people are very jealous of other people's successes. We know this. We hear about it. And, Allie and I, we've seen so many patients, there's a lot of spouses that sometimes develop an issue where their spouse tries to sabotage them because they don't want them getting better or healthier because, fear
or they might even be more attractive.
Bingo.
Which is,
See,
it happens.
It's a huge dynamic.
Hot topics.
That's
but isn't it human nature?
Say the husband or wife, it doesn't matter. We've seen it both ways. One of them, whoever is there in the program, losing weight. The other person, we'll just say you've got a husband that loses all this weight, right? He feels great, but his wife is putting him down, and he's like, and realistically, she could lose some weight. She could eat better. She could, move a little more. And they don't, and most of the time they're not being nasty about it. They truly want what's best for their spouse. But
it's very delicate.
It's very delicate.
It's very sensitive. And it has to come from the person. You can't force, or you can nudge or lead a little bit, but they have to be invested. And I can imagine that you're managing a lot of complexity there.
For sure.
And sometimes people probably feel that they have become unnecessarily vulnerable in their own relationship or home.
Completely.
It's really complicated.
When our patients succeed on our programs, right, from a physiological standpoint, right? So we do blood work, as you know, 3 to 5 times a year.
But could you share what's kind of special about that blood work? Because it is not daunting.
So the amazing thing is that a lot of the blood work we offer, your PCP just either won't do, or insurance companies would want you to have 9 diagnoses to cover it. But how in the hell do you go to your doctor as a female and say, I'm having hot flashes, and them not check all of your hormones?
I don't know.
I've never heard of something so ridiculous in my life, but it happens every day. Or they check my thyroid, it's fine.
Well, and they're at the mercy of the insurance company because
very
the practitioners know what will get covered and what won't with certain symptoms, and they can't make symptoms up. So sometimes I truly think they just don't order it because they don't want to have it. Well, they don't have a reason that will pass through
They
insurance.
can't find a box to check.
That's right.
Correct.
That's right.
And we are not prisoners of those things, right? We are a practice that does not accept insurance. We're a cash-based model. Yes, we accept HSAs and FSAs for care and things like that. But we're able to then be the practitioner. You have to think to yourself,
the blood work is not it's not cost prohibitive.
No, the blood work.
It truly isn't. I don't want to leave that impression. It's not as though we're coming from, again, the other side of the other model. This is, it's doable.
It is. There's like 65 plus biomarkers on that panel. I mean, it's $199. You could never, with most insurances, couldn't get it done.
You could not
for that.
do it.
And it checks a ton of things. Yes, it checks a lot of your general things, right? Your kidney function, your liver function, your
Well,
glucose, your
it
hemoglobin
should.
A1C. You know, it checks all the general things that usually a PCP will check, but then it's a lot more detailed. I mean, there's B12, there's folate, there's an iron study on there. There's beyond your TSH for your thyroid. There's a thyroid antibody levels that tell us like, hey, is something autoimmune going on? Because your TSH can be completely fine, but you have something autoimmune going on with your thyroid. So there's sex hormones on there, there's inflammatory markers on there. So it's a really great foundation, right? It's a really good picture to start with versus just, oh, hey, what are your blood counts and what's your glucose look like and your lipid panel? That is such a small amount of information. The more information that we have to start with, the better we can take care of a patient.
And it doesn't require a million vials being pulled. That's the thing I want everyone to know, because that is very off-putting for many people. It doesn't. It's a great system.
And Sue, I pride myself not only in just getting all that blood work, it's just not having a nurse call you, which happened to me a couple weeks ago. Oh, we got your results. Everything's good. If you have any questions, please call the office. Blah, blah, blah. What are we doing here? So we do the complete antithesis of that is, I want you seeing me. Listen, Sue, you've been through this. Not only getting all this darn blood work done, your butt's in front of me and we're going over it.
And you're not
45 minutes.
You are not going anywhere until every line has been addressed. You will have, I was just going to say, you will have questions answered that you didn't even know you had questions for. But boy, will you leave informed and also supported and hopeful. You're not ever exiting that experience feeling frightened and insecure.
Thank you.
That is the incredible piece of this. This is all right. This is our picture. This is our snapshot. And these are the measures that are recommended to get you to the place where you want to be. And then you make yourselves available.
And it doesn't, and sometimes we're still unsure.
Of course.
Hey, it seems this way.
I mean, I've been a real puzzle, so I know.
Some more blood work. Sometimes we'll recommend some more blood work to be done. Sometimes it's unsure, and sometimes we're like, hey, let's do this for 2 months, and let's reevaluate and see, and then maybe it will help take us down. It'll hone in on the path that we're supposed to go. But gosh, I think I pride our practice in the fact that even if we don't have an answer in the beginning, we have a really good foundation with your blood work, going over your past medical history thoroughly, and understanding what your clinical symptoms are, right? I think that even if we don't have an answer, don't know for sure, we will do our best to find an answer.
What separates the men from the boys, and I'll never forget this experience. I'm in the office talking with Dr. Dubyak, reviewing some blood results. And without going into detail, I have many complexities. And what was incredible to me and invaluable was when you're at your office, it's not uncommon that both of you don't appear at the same time before your patient. And then you have an open dialogue and exchange about coming from the holistic point of view, coming from the medical allopathic point of view.
Yeah.
And together as a patient, you sit there and you hear the navigation from these 2 points of view about your case and the conclusions that are reached transparently in front of you. So if the integrative model is just alive and you're plugging into it in real time, these two human resources of it. So I want to. I don't know that I ever had a chance to mention that to you.
No.
But if you want to I'm glad we're doing this today to tell you that, because it was one of the most powerful experiences I've ever had in a health system, in a healthcare appointment, because it's happening in real time. As you said, we don't always know. We have to sit here. We have to kind of put the noggins together, and put the pieces together, and then the humility of each of you as providers is moving and impressive.
I thank you. I thank you for that. And
I think it's important to have it.
It's powerful what you just said of that experience. And I, just as you were speaking of that, I kind of put myself in your shoes and thought, hey, if I was ever, even in my world, if I was in the hospital, one of my patients in the hospital, and it was me, and, you know, my PCP comes in and we'll say a cardiologist, it would make me feel so much better to know that they were talking together, like two worlds coming together, talking it through, trying to figure out what would be the best case scenario or route to go down. So thank you for that. That was like to see it that from your perspective was.
I need to share that because of all the things that have led me into, you know, a great relationship with you and many, many good outcomes. I have to say that was just very indicative. It's illustrative of what you're bringing to the table. And it was very powerful for me, because a lot of times people are there because they need answers and they're desperate. Mm-hmm. So you're in a vulnerable, fragile state.
They are.
So and it has to be held.
Uh-huh.
And, you know, I think when we started this conversation today, and me stating that we're more powerful as a team, Allie and I, than separately. And you know, I always tell Allie we should promote ourselves as the first couple in integrative care, because we are. You know, we trademarked the Body by Aim360 system, and all the practitioners who do work for us are trained under us with our system, right? So if you don't always get us, you're trained by people who were trained by us, right, in our protocol.
It's very apparent.
And it is funny because I tell people, when you're in our office, I don't have a filter. Okay, I'm tough sometimes. I'll hug you, I'll kiss you, but it's what you need. And if we're able to put those egos aside, that was such a great compliment. So I thank you for that, because we're a team, and it's the best thing for the patient. And that's where
it's always
a lot of doctors need to put themselves.
At.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It has to be the best thing for the patient, right? Always.
Now, you're not going to let anybody leave not feeling better. And
not.
we know it.
Yeah. I hope not.
You sense it. And honestly, we all need people who have our back. And, you know, you want to have that sense, you know, that you have a safety net and you're plugged into something meaningful. I know that you're always evolving. And I mentioned the word pioneer earlier.
Yeah.
And I thought, you know, it would be really nice to spend a few minutes on your recent projects.
Absolutely. I'm excited to go over it with you.
Yeah. So please, let's talk a little bit about that.
So we're very happy to announce that. So I think going on this whole talk about knowledge and information, people really want to know what's happening inside more than just blood, right? So how about gene therapy and genomics, right? And nutrigenomics, meaning how nutrition affects your genes, and epigenetics, is how just the environment affects you. So there's a lot of gene companies out there. And Allie and I, over the past 5.5 months, I've had meeting after meeting after meeting, have brought in a company, so many meetings, but we wanted to make sure it was right for our patients. But we wanted to also make sure it was right for us.
That it complemented what we already do in a really good way.
And we just, again, don't want genetic companies giving us data. We wanted a company that would give us data, but also a direction and a way. And it was just more or less empowerment, right? So a lot of people from MTHFR or Alzheimer's and things like that, So Body by Aim360 has now developed something that we call the Aim print. It is your genetic footprint of yourself. It is your genes, but just not knowing, now a plan of attack. We're the first company that we know of that is now going to be able to do that with the model that we've created with health coaching, supplementation, medical care, all that great stuff, all in one. So when we say customize, Sue, and we say customize, guys, there is nothing more customized than that. And that's
It's
what
so
we're excited
individualized. And then you can approach everything, I'll just use the word prescriptively,
Sure.
toward that very specific person's experience and what they're working with.
100%. Like you said, prescriptive. It's just not a predictive model. It's also a prescriptive model. And a lot of people have a hard time navigating themselves. They play Dr. TikTok. They play Dr. Google. They play
Right.
Dr. ChatGPT.
There's so much information
And
out
it's
there.
overwhelming. So we are so excited to launch it. Just in the past, we launched it 2 weeks ago.
How exciting.
We were able to
Congratulations.
Thank you. We were able to do it throughout the country.
Yeah.
There's some states that just their state laws, I think 2 or 3, we can't. But we're able to see people throughout the country in that. And even with our blood work, and if I'm able to make that point, Sue, over 20% of our patients now live more than 2 to 4 hours away from us, either driving in or flying in to see
I've
them.
met them in the
Is-
waiting room. It's impressive.
drive.
So it's
Yeah.
very humbling.
It is very
and,
humbling.
It's pretty neat because it edifies to Allie and I that we are doing the right thing, and that we are on to something. But the people who do want blood work, it's a PA law. You at least have to come see us once in person. That's called establishing a face-to-face. And then we could see you throughout the country. But no, we are humbled by the fact that, last Wednesday we had someone drive in from Tennessee or someone flying in from Texas in September. That's a
Incredible.
really neat feeling for us, and I'm very humbled by that, so
Yeah.
thank you.
We had somebody come from Utah.
Wow.
Yeah, we had
Couple
someone
months
come in
ago.
from Utah a couple months ago. So pretty neat
I'm not
things,
surprised. I'm always impressed and I'm thrilled for you, but I
Thank you.
am not entirely surprised.
Thank
That's
you.
amazing.
Thank you.
I also know that you are jumping on the podcast wagon.
Yay.
Finally, because
Yes,
I cannot actually think of a better couple of folks for a podcast. And when I heard that,
Gonna be
I was
interesting.
excited. Would you care to share a little bit about your plans on for that?
You want to? You want me?
You go ahead.
All right. So
You're super excited.
So I'm super excited because so we always love giving information. But
Right.
I absolutely love watching my wife give information because
Yeah.
when Allie talks with somebody, there's a genuineness behind it. There's a caring behind it. And she's so brilliant. It helps people just get better.
Agreed.
And to bring that model to everybody is amazing. So Tuesday, December 2nd, we'll be launching Beyond the Scale.
Woohoo. Amazing.
So it's an hour with the Dubyaks. We'll be speaking on products from the right way to do GLP medication, what diet is right for you. I mean, think of anything. But 2026, we have, we just did that massive build out, Sue. We have a 5,000 square foot office.
Yes.
Bringing
Very
in
nice.
new modalities that will complement each other, from hyperbaric chambers complementing IV care, but all with a plan, just not, I want to come in and use that stuff. It's
Right.
all a
Ties in with the other
directive.
services.
Yeah, I think
It's not just an a la carte menu.
no, correct. I want this done based on you. It's a very specific plan. And that's why I never said, don't use these things as retail models like IVs. They're great. But like with our company, all the IV medicine that we do is based on your care.
Yes.
I mean, to have that blood work is everything. And yes, it takes extra time, Sue, for our nurses to make your IV bags that day.
That day. Yeah.
Based on your care.
All fresh.
Yep.
So we are Pittsburgh's only customs IV center. And I take great pride in that because
And
I
I
believe
highly
that's why our
recommend
patients are the
that.
best.
Yeah,
So.
it's such a differentiator, and it's been so powerful for me and those who take advantage of it, who I know. Well,
That makes
this
me
has
so
been
happy.
an absolute
Yeah, thank
delight.
you.
It's
has
been
been.
an enrichment, I know, always for me, and I know for our audience. And I cannot thank you both, Allie and Dr. Dubyak. I can't thank you enough.
We're
Thank you,
so
Sue,
grateful
for having
for
us.
the invitation. Thank you. It's
Sue,
great
can
to
I
be here.
tell people our website quickly?
I want you to, yes.
Thank you. Just our website is bodybyAim360.com. Body by Aim, AIM, like the old toothpaste. That's how old we're getting, everyone. Aim360.com. You guys can see all of our services, who the Dubyaks are, and learn a little bit more about us and Sue again.
And your location?
Our locations. So we have 2 Pittsburgh locations, one in the North Hills, McCandless area of Pittsburgh, and the other one in Robinson, right out by the airport.
Yeah.
So, and a lot of our patients who fly in and things like that, they fly because we're only 6 minutes from the airport.
Yeah, they're
so,
really
True.
close.
so it works very,
Really
very
close to the airport.
convenient for those folks. And again, thank you
Thank
for
you
having
so
Allie and I.
much.
We're very
Thank
happy
you.
to be here. So thank you very much.
Thanks so very much, and thank you everybody out there, and we'll look forward to next time.